Imagine you're driving to work on a normal Tuesday morning. Out of nowhere, your check engine light comes on. A few minutes later, your car starts making a strange noise. You pull over hoping it's nothing serious, but after a trip to the mechanic, you hear the words no one wants to hear. It's going to cost $1,200 to fix. You check your bank account. There's only $143. Now what? Do you put it on a credit card, borrow money from family, take out a loan, or hope the car somehow fixes itself? Unfortunately, this situation is more common than most people realize, and that's exactly why emergency funds exist. Today, I'm going to show you what an emergency fund is, why it's one of the most important financial tools you can have, and how to start building one, even if money is tight. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan to start protecting yourself from life's unexpected expenses. Let's get started. What is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is exactly what it sounds like. It's money you set aside for life's unexpected expenses, not for vacations, not for holiday shopping, not for a new phone, only for true emergencies. Think of it as a financial safety net. Hopefully, you'll never need it, but if something unexpected happens, you'll be glad it's there. Emergencies can happen to anyone. Your car breaks down, your water heater stops working, you have an unexpected medical bill, you lose your job. Life doesn't send a warning before these things happen, but having an emergency fund means those surprises don't automatically become financial disasters. Why most people struggle without one. Here's what often happens when people don't have emergency savings. Something unexpected comes up. They reach for a credit card. The problem gets solved for the moment, but now they're paying interest every month. That one emergency ends up costing much more than the original repair. Over time, it's easy to get stuck in a cycle. Emergency, debt, interest, repeat. An emergency fund helps break that cycle. Instead of borrowing money, you're using money you've already set aside. That gives you options, and options reduce stress. It's about more than money. Here's something people don't talk about enough. An emergency fund doesn't just protect your bank account, it protects your peace of mind. Imagine knowing that if your tire blows out tomorrow, or your refrigerator suddenly stops working, you already have money ready. You don't have to panic. You don't have to wonder how you're going to pay for it. That's a powerful feeling. Financial security isn't about never having problems. It's about being prepared when problems happen. Anyone can start. Maybe you're thinking, this sounds great, but I don't make enough money to save. If that's you, don't click away, because in the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how much you should save first. Most people think they need to save $10,000 before they're protected. In the next section, I'll explain why that's a myth and what your first savings goal should actually be. And I promise, the answer is probably much smaller than you think. You don't need to save thousands of dollars before you start making progress. You just need to take the first step. Let's talk about what that first goal should actually be. Let's clear up one of the biggest myths about emergency savings. A lot of people think they need to save $10,000 or even $20,000 before they can call themselves financially prepared. That's simply not true. If you're just getting started, aiming for a huge number can actually make it harder to begin when a goal feels impossible. We tend to put it off instead of focusing on the finish line. Focus on the very first milestone. Because small wins build momentum, and momentum is what creates long-term success. Your first goal: save your first $500. If you've never had an emergency fund before, don't worry about saving thousands of dollars right away. Instead, make your first goal $500. Why? Because many common emergencies cost less than that. A flat tire, a minor car repair, an unexpected doctor visit, replacing a broken appliance, paying a deductible. Will $500 solve every financial emergency? No, but it can prevent many small problems from turning into expensive debt. Think of it as your first layer of financial protection. Once you reach that first milestone, celebrate it. You're building a habit that many people never develop. Next goal, build to $1,000. Once you've saved your first $500, keep going. Your next milestone is $1,000. At this point, you'll be able to handle many unexpected expenses without immediately reaching for a credit card. Imagine your washing machine breaks or your car battery dies. Instead of panicking, you already have money waiting. That changes everything. An emergency becomes an inconvenience instead of a financial crisis. The long-term goal, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Once your high-interest debt is under control and you're consistently saving money, it's time to think bigger. Many financial professionals recommend building an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. Notice I said expenses, not income. If your essential monthly expenses are rent, utilities, groceries, insurance, transportation, and they total about $2,500 per month, then 3 months would be $7,500. 6 months would be $15,000. That amount isn't designed for a flat tire. It's there for bigger situations, like losing your job, facing a medical emergency, or dealing with a major life event that interrupts your income. You don't have to reach this goal overnight. It can take months or even years, and that's perfectly okay. Building an emergency fund is a marathon, not a sprint. Keep your emergency fund accessible. Now, here's another important question. Where should you keep your emergency fund? The answer is simple. Keep it somewhere that's safe, easy to access, and separate from your everyday spending. Many people use a dedicated savings account for this purpose. The goal isn't to earn huge investment returns. The goal is to have the money available when you truly need it. An emergency fund should be easy to access in an emergency, but not so easy that you're tempted to spend it on everyday purchases. Progress is more important than perfection. Don't get discouraged if your emergency fund grows slowly. Even saving $20, $50, or $100 at a time adds up. Remember, you aren't competing with anyone else. You're building financial security one step at a time. Every dollar you save today is one less dollar you'll have to borrow tomorrow. That's real progress. You don't have to earn more money to start saving, but there are a few simple strategies that can help you reach your goal much faster. That's what we're covering next. Now you know how much you should aim to save, but that leads to another question. Where do you actually find the money? If your budget already feels tight, saving can seem impossible. In the next section, I'll show you practical ways to build your emergency fund faster, even if you're starting with very little money. By now, you know why an emergency fund matters, and you know how much you should aim to save. But here's the question almost everyone asks next. Where am I supposed to find the money? If you've ever looked at your budget and felt like every dollar already has a job, you're not alone. The good news is that building an emergency fund isn't usually about making one huge change. It's about making several small changes that add up over time. Let's look at some of the easiest ways to get started. Strategy number 1. Pay yourself. First, one of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting until the end of the month to save whatever is left over. The problem is, there's usually nothing left. Instead, flip the process. The moment you get paid, move money into your emergency fund before you spend it anywhere else, even if it's only $25 or $50. Treat your savings like any other monthly bill because you're paying your future self. When saving becomes automatic, you don't have to rely on willpower every month. Strategy number 2. Find one expense to cut. I'm not going to tell you to stop buying coffee forever. That's not realistic. Instead, look for one expense that doesn't add much value to your life. Maybe it's a streaming service you haven't used in months. Maybe it's ordering takeout a little too often. Maybe it's subscriptions you forgot you were paying for. Cutting just $20 a week adds up to more than $1,000 over a year. Small changes really do make a difference. Strategy number 3, save unexpected money. Whenever extra money comes in, try saving at least part of it. That could include a tax refund, a work bonus, birthday money, cashback rewards, selling things you no longer use, overtime pay. Since you weren't relying on that money for your monthly bills, it's a great opportunity to grow your emergency fund faster. You don't have to save all of it. Even saving half is progress. Strategy number 4, make saving automatic. One of the easiest ways to save money is to remove the decision completely. Many banks allow you to schedule automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account. For example, every payday, you could automatically move $25 into your emergency fund. You may barely notice it leaving your checking account, but after a year, those small deposits can add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Automation turns saving into a habit instead of a monthly decision. Strategy number 5, increase your income. Sometimes the easiest way to save more is to earn a little more. That doesn't necessarily mean getting a second full-time job. You could work a few extra hours, sell unused items around your house, babysit, mow lawns, walk dogs, do freelance work, drive for a delivery service if it fits your schedule. Even earning an extra $100 a month can make a big difference over time. Remember, your emergency fund doesn't care where the money comes from. It only grows when you consistently add to it. Progress beats perfection. Here's something important to remember. You don't need to save hundreds of dollars every month. You just need to keep moving forward. Some months you might save $25. Other months you might save $200. Both are wins. Building an emergency fund isn't about speed. It's about consistency. Every deposit is another step toward financial security. You've worked hard to build your emergency fund, but using it for the wrong reasons can undo months of progress. In the final part, I'll show you exactly what counts as a real emergency, what doesn't, and how to rebuild your savings after you use it. Now that you know how to grow your emergency fund, there's one last thing you need to learn. What shouldn't you use it for? In the final section, we'll talk about the biggest emergency fund mistakes, how to avoid them, and how to know when it's actually okay to use the money you've worked so hard to save. Congratulations! If you've made it this far, you now know why an emergency fund matters, how much you should save, and how to build it faster. But there's one important question left. When should you actually use it? Because if you use your emergency fund for the wrong reasons, it won't be there when you truly need it. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. What counts as a real emergency? A good rule of thumb is to ask yourself 3 questions. Was it unexpected? Is it necessary? Does it need to be handled right away? If the answer to all 3 is yes, it's probably a real emergency. For example, your car breaks down and you need it to get to work. Your furnace stops working in the middle of winter. You receive an unexpected medical bill. You lose your job and need help covering your essential expenses while you search for another one. These are exactly the kinds of situations your emergency fund is designed for. Using it in moments like these isn't a failure. It's the reason you built it in the first place. What doesn't count as an emergency? Now let's look at a few things that are not emergencies. A new phone because a newer model came out. A last-minute vacation deal. Holiday shopping. Concert tickets. A shopping spree because something is on sale. These might be things you want, but they aren't emergencies. Here's a simple test. Ask yourself, if I don't buy this today, will my health, safety, or ability to earn an income be affected? If the answer is no, your emergency fund should stay exactly where it is. Rebuild it after you use it. Here's something people often forget. Using your emergency fund isn't the end of the process. It's only one step. Once the emergency has passed, Make rebuilding your fund your next financial priority. Imagine you had $1,000 saved. A car repair costs $600. You now have $400 remaining. Instead of thinking, "I'll worry about it later," start adding money back as soon as you can, even if it's only $25 or $50 at a time. Your goal is to restore your safety net before the next unexpected expense happens. Peace of mind is worth more than the number. People often focus on the dollar amount in their emergency fund, but the biggest benefit isn't the money itself. It's the confidence, knowing you can handle life's surprises without immediately going into debt, knowing you have breathing room if something unexpected happens. That peace of mind is difficult to measure, but it's incredibly valuable. Financial security isn't about never facing problems. It's about being prepared when they happen. Your 7-day emergency fund challenge. I'd like to leave you with a simple challenge. Over the next 7 days, Day 1, open a dedicated savings account if you don't already have one. Day 2, decide on your first savings goal, whether it's $100, $500, or $1,000. Write it down. Day 3, set up an automatic transfer, even if it's only $10 or $20 each payday. Day 4, look through your subscriptions and cancel one you don't use. Day 5, sell one item you no longer need and put the money into your emergency fund. Day 6, track your spending and see where you can free up a little extra money. Day 7, make your first deposit or celebrate the progress you've already made. Remember, every emergency fund starts with the very first dollar. Final thoughts. Building an emergency fund isn't about becoming wealthy overnight. It's about creating stability. It's about replacing financial stress with financial confidence. Whether you save $10 this week or $500 this month, you're moving in the right direction. The important thing isn't how fast you build your emergency fund. The important thing is that you start. Because future, you will be grateful that today's you took the first step. If this video helped you, I'd really appreciate it if you gave it a like. It helps this channel reach more people who want to improve their financial future. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. What's your first emergency fund goal? Is it $100, $500, $1,000? Or are you already working toward 3 to 6 months of expenses? Share your goal below. We can encourage each other along the way. And if you're serious about building better money habits, be sure to subscribe to DIY Finances. Every week, you'll find practical, beginner-friendly videos on budgeting, saving, investing, paying off debt, and building long-term wealth. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.